Roberts.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. As a financial planner for many years, I can confirm that for a large majority of the population in the UK, the topic of pensions is something to be avoided and put off to a later date. Looking at the sparseness of the call sheet for today and the benches around me, it would seem to be the case for many honourable and right honourable members as well. For many in the UK, pensions are complicated, boring and hard to understand, and we can't all be pension geeks like myself and the front bench spokesman who mentioned earlier. You know, in April 2006, we went through pension simplification. Mr Deputy Speaker, a misnomer if ever there was one. That was about the time that I was becoming involved in pensions, and if what came out of pension simplification is simple, I would have hated to have to work with what was before. But it doesn't need to be complicated. Pensions are actually the simplest of things. It's an investment with a tax-efficient wrapper around it. Save for your retirement with tax benefits as an incentive to do so. It's no more complicated than that. And we've seen other industries adapt to evolve to suit new technologies as they come up. The banking industry, as a great example, have embraced new technological advances, such as online banking, and now over 76% of people in the UK use online banking regularly, compared to just a third of people back in 2007. And as the banking industry has developed to meet the needs of modern society, it's now time for the pension sector to do the same and move into the 21st century. The bill before the House today would seem to be the first step to doing just that. A YouGov survey recently found that 3 in 5 workers have no idea how much they have saved in their pension, with over a quarter of working-age people with a pension saying that they've never even checked what's in there. Now, as the United Kingdom has an increasingly ageing population, it's more important than ever that individuals can plan for the future and protect their savings. Currently, there are barriers to people doing this. As I've said in other debates in this House before, my main reason for being involved with the Conservative and Unionist Party is one of empowerment and enabling people to take control of their lives, to make better decisions and shape their own futures. I'm once again proud to be a member of the party which empowers people to have the freedom and knowledge to make their own informed choices about their life and form the retirement that they want and deserve. The bill today enables people to make better decisions about their pension by giving people access to their pension savings in one place. And I completely support the idea, as other honourable and right honourable members have mentioned, about the pensions dashboard, which will make it much easier for people to see their pensions information online. By having all of their savings in one place, people will be more likely to keep track of their savings and engage with their pension pot, allowing individuals to understand their pension savings and make better choices along the way. I do remain cautious, however, along the thinking that a little information can be a bad thing. And I do worry a little bit about individuals who would benefit from professional advice, trying to take sometimes complex decisions on their own, rather than seeking a properly qualified financial planner. But as my honourable friend has just mentioned, with people having on average 11 jobs in their lifetime and the current regime of auto-enrolment meaning they may have a different pension pot each time, it's now really hard for people to monitor and keep up to date with their pension savings, to say nothing for those millions of people who've lost track of their pensions from jobs that they had decades ago. We've had many conversations, my honourable friend the Pensions Minister and I, about pension tracing, and I remain hopeful that because pensions have always been logged by national insurance number, there'll be some potential for some functionality within the new dashboard system for a way to proactively inform individuals about pensions that they might have and not be aware of, without them having to know the details of a job that may have been some significant time ago. According to the ABI, 20% of adults admit to having lost a pension pot, so the figure will be much higher because some people won't even realise that it's happened. And the research suggests that there's almost £20 billion in these forgotten pensions, which would be a massive boost for pensioners to recover in these difficult times. Mr L, for example, who visited my office a couple of years ago wanting to access his £50,000 pension to clear the remaining balance of his mortgage and give him a little bit of comfort. A little bit of investigation later, and we uncovered that he actually had £260,000 rather than £50,000. And we made a new plan, not only to clear the mortgage, but also for him to retire 7 years earlier than planned. It can be a very transformative process to go through. But if we want to encourage people to engage with their pensions and their retirement plans, then we need to have their pensions data readily available, and we need to give people the right to choose how they engage with it, whether it be online or through an app on their phones, through the Money and Pension Service, or indeed via their own provider. This right to choose has already been extended in other areas of people's financial lives. And with the creation of a pensions dashboard, this right will finally be extended to pensions, and people will have the freedom to make their own decisions about their future. I do look forward to hearing the Minister's plans on how he's going to ensure that data on multiple pensions cannot be viewed by competitor providers, and that people's personal information remains protected from predatory sales practices. I do have some sympathy with the points made by the Honourable Member for Airdrie and Shotts earlier on, and others, that the MAPS platform should be primary. But I do recognise that innovation often lies, as my right honourable friend just mentioned, in the hands of private firms, normally to the benefit of the consumer. Moving on from dashboards, the existing pension frameworks, defined benefit and defined contribution schemes, can create significant risk and cost for employers on one hand, and don't provide the most predictable retirement income for scheme members on the other. So in addition to the dashboard concept, individuals in some circumstances will also be provided with a greater freedom of choice through the introduction of the collective defined contribution scheme, which are a better and more affordable and more reliable alternative for both scheme members and employers. In these schemes, savers in a company can pool their money collectively into a single fund which pays an annual pension income, and by addressing the binary nature of UK pension legislation, individuals will then have greater opportunities to invest in a variety of schemes which benefit them and their needs. As risk is shouldered collectively among them across the membership rather than by individual members, this will lead to greater stability and security. Just another measure that shows that the government is listening and working with the needs and views of the industry as well as our constituents. Just to touch briefly on charges and costs, as others have mentioned, I'll note a little bit of caution, which hopefully my honourable friend will take heed of. For many, many years now, there's been a huge focus on costs and charges in pensions, and I sometimes worry that it's skewed sometimes in the wrong way. I've seen a number of clients over the years who've transferred pension funds into options with much lower charging structures, only to see significantly lower growth as well. So something delivering a 5% return with a 1% charge is a much better option than something that only has a 0.2% charge but only returns 3%. I'm also pleased to see that today's bill will strengthen the powers of the pensions regulator. So members of pension schemes will have increased protection of their savings. It gives a fresh set of dentures to a regulator that previously may have lacked a little bit of bite, and is a welcome reform. But while TPR performs an incredibly important role in protecting workplace pensions and building people's confidence in retirement saving, there has been a significant change in the industry since its creation in 2005, and it's time that it had some more authority. So I'm glad that today's bill will update the role and powers of TPR for it to be fit to meet the needs of pensions in the 21st century. The regulator will have greater powers to deter reckless behaviour, such as extended information gathering powers and the introduction of new civil and criminal sanctions. But if we're to encourage people to save in their pensions for their future, then it's right that people can feel confident that their savings will be protected by a robust regulatory structure. Today's measures build on that important trust in pension schemes and put consumer interests first. Ultimately, the bill showcases the heart of the Conservative and Union government's values: empowerment, freedom and choice. The bill will give people the freedom to make informed decisions about their future, the ability to choose where to save their pension, and the confidence to make the right decision about their future and retirement, knowing it will be protected, and I'm pleased to support it. In closing, Mr. Speaker, may I also take a moment to say on my own behalf, and I'm sure on behalf of honourable and right honourable members on all sides of this House, how pleased we all are to see my honourable friend the Minister at the dispatch box after his recent tragic loss. I know the whole House was devastated to hear his news, and we hope that he and his partner are doing well. And as others have paid tribute to his passion and assiduity in preparing the bill, I add my voice to their praise.